Dear students, good afternoon. Good afternoon. We're happy to see you before your exam tomorrow for English language in a webinar to help you and to tell you how to deal with the exam paper and the main grammar for the baccalaureate level. At the beginning, I welcome my colleagues in the studio, Ms. Ula Al-Mouai, English Language Supervisor, Tartus Directorate.
Hello.
Ms. Rula Al-Bitar, English Language Teacher, Lataka Directorate.
Hello.
Mr. Nazir Sulwan, English Language Teacher at the Planning and Cooperating Commission, English Language Teaching Center, and Ms. Sana Ismail, English Language Teacher, Damascus Countryside Directorate. Before now, we talked about the exam in another webinar. This time we're going to do something different. We're going to start from the exam paper. We're going to help the students do the exam questions, and after we finish doing the exam paper, we're going to talk about the grammar they will meet in the exam. At the beginning, we advise the students to start not with the text, but to read the questions. After reading the questions, they can read the text and to find the answers to the questions while reading. We start with the first question. Ms. Ula Al-Mouai, please read it.
The first one, read the following text, then do the tasks below. Shall I read the text?
Yeah,
okay.
not the question.
The questions, okay. To start with, we should start by reading the questions so
Yes.
that when they read the text, they can figure out or find the
They can know
answers.
what they are going to look for.
Exactly. What are the factors that affect the amount of our sleep?
Okay.
So we should read the question and try to understand before even reading the text, the factors. We're looking for the factor that affect our sleep. Why is it important to get enough sleep? And how are shallow sleepers different from deep sleepers?
Thank you. Mr. Nazir Sulwan, please start reading the text, and while reading, we're going to concentrate on the answers.
Yes. Okay.
Can we go down, Ms. Hiba, to see the beginning of the text? Yes, sir.
Should I start?
Yeah, start, please.
Okay. So many thanks for your efforts, Mr. Abed, and for my colleagues. First, let's start reading the text. The amount of sleep human beings need varies from individual to individual.
Okay. Can you raise your voice, sir?
Yes. Most adults need about 8 hours of sleep a day, but this number can vary greatly. Babies need about 16 hours a day, while many teenagers need an average of 9 hours. As people get older, they tend to need less sleep. Exactly how much we need depends on several factors.
Sorry to interrupt, but here we find the word factors.
Factors.
While
Yes.
reading, we find the word
Yes.
factors.
Yes, exactly. So it means that students will stop here in order
They
to
can write a
write
sign or
take
something.
notes
Yes.
to get the answer exactly here. So it means that this answer, number one, goes to this exact to the answer.
They
the
can
factors.
continue reading to figure out or to
Yes.
make sure that this is the
rest
answer.
of the
Yeah.
the rest of the answers, right?
Yeah.
Including our age, our daily routine, the quality of our sleep, and our genetic makeup. Some of the signs that you may need more sleep are: you have memory problems, you cannot concentrate at school or at work, you are moody. Getting enough sleep allows us to recharge our mental and physical batteries and be ready for each new day. People who have been deprived of sleep find it difficult to perform the simplest activities. For example, motorists who fall asleep at the wheel are responsible for thousands of traffic accidents every year. How we sleep also affects us. When we fall asleep, our sleep can be deep and restful or light and shallow. Shallow sleepers wake up still feeling tired, while deep sleepers wake up refreshed. This is the text, my students.
Yeah.
So first we wanted to get here, number one, what is exactly the answer in this text? So it means that if I read the answer, number one, what are the factors that affect the amount of our sleep? It means that we wanted to focus, or we wanted to look for one word that
Keywords,
leads us,
they can.
keywords that keep that
That is related
related to the answer.
We have the word factor,
yes,
as
exactly.
Ms. Saula
So we have
mentioned.
factors here It means the answer is located in this position in the first paragraph. Let's say that the answer should be
A little down, Ms. Hiba.
yes.
Down, not up. Yes, okay, thank you. So,
number
factors
one, yes,
including...
the factors are including our age.
So our age is one factor.
Yes, our
Daily routine, the second factor.
the quality of our sleep,
quality of our
and
sleep.
our genetic
Yeah,
makeup.
our genetic
And
makeup.
here they have to pay attention to the form of the structure of the
structure,
sentence.
yes, exactly. It means that
It's
students...
not only just writing the same sentence in the
yes.
text.
So
Yeah.
by the way here, this is...
But
please be
what
informed.
if the student wrote the same as in the text?
Yes, it's
100%
Yeah, it will take-
correct.
it will take
But
full
if
mark.
they have to
Exactly.
delete some words, they have to pay attention.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly, yeah. But I wanted to focus on something here. For most students, do not start with verbs.
Of course
When you
not.
start a sentence, don't start with verbs.
Yeah, because
Subject.
English
Start
language
with
starts with a
subject,
noun.
verb, or at least you can check the answers only. Like here, Mr. Abid has already said our genetic, or our age, our daily routines, the quality of our sleep, and our genetic makeup. It's accepted here.
Of
It means
course.
that this is the answer.
The
This is
second
exactly
page,
what...
Hiba. The
Yes.
second page, not this one.
With the texts. We can move on to the next question.
The other one, Ms. Hiba. So the second question was, if you can see
Why?
it.
Why is it important to get enough sleep?
Yeah, why is it important?
And we can find the word enough. Getting
Enough.
enough sleep. It's not the same form, but
Yes.
they can find the
Yeah,
same word.
here, because let me just say something. The first paper, the first exam paper is for comprehension.
Comprehension, reading
Which
comprehension.
means the student needs to know the meaning of the words and
Exactly.
the equivalents, the synonyms, so that he understands. So not necessarily the same word.
Not the same, but
maybe
they are the same,
meaning.
but with different form. Get enough sleep, so it's getting enough sleep, so it's almost the same.
So why is it important? Because getting enough sleep
Allows us to recharge our mental and physical batteries and be ready for each new day.
Yes.
This is
And
a
this
whole
is
question,
the
a whole answer.
a whole answer. Thank you so much. Ms. Sana, if you please read question number 3.
How are shallow sleepers different from deep sleepers?
And we
The
can see
answer-
this in the end of
Yes,
the
at
text.
the end of the text. Shallow sleepers wake up still feeling tired.
Yes.
While deep sleepers wake up refreshed.
So we need to talk about the difference. We need to mention both sides, shallow sleepers
And
and
deep
deep
sleepers.
And
sleepers.
deep sleepers,
Yeah.
exactly.
So like this, we covered the first 3 questions. The second question, Mr. Will you please just read the rubric, find
Yes.
words.
Find words in the text which mean the following.
Now read
Now-
number 4.
Number 4, easily feeling gloomy for no good reason.
So easily feeling gloomy
Gloomy.
for no good reason, someone who is changeable.
Changeable, moody.
Exactly,
Yeah.
it is the word.
The students
this is the keyword.
have to find the words from the text.
Yes.
The first one is moody.
Moody means
Moody.
someone
Yes,
who
exactly.
can change
Changeable.
his
Yes.
mood without
Sometimes
having
There was
any...
no good
angry,
reason.
Sometimes being happy, sometimes being
With
sad.
no good reason.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Number
Okay.
5, give all your attention to a subject.
This is a verb. They have to
So
pay
they
attention
have
to that.
to find the verb, which means that and eat, concentrate.
Concentrate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Concentrate.
So the words are, this side of the paper is a bit more difficult than the other side because the student needs to find the words. They are
It's
not
not
I
underlined.
mean that the students should look for the words, so the text of the vocabs in this text. in order
Exactly.
to
And
look
they
for
have
the
to
check
pay
the
attention.
meaning, the exact
And they,
meaning
ha-
of the...
they have to pay
You know, they have
attention
to
if
pay
it's a
attention.
noun, an adjective,
Yes,
or a
especially-
verb.
We have some vocabulary with every text. They have to
Yes.
pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Every
exactly.
text has a bunch of of vocabulary, sorry. So they need to read that vocabulary.
Especially the words are not lined, are not highlighted here.
Exactly,
so
Meaning
they
that
need
the
to
students will
know
look
them in
for all
advance.
the text, will know the
Exactly.
meaning of the words.
Exactly. Ms. Sana, can you read the rubric of the following question?
Okay.
We didn't mention something about the allotted marks. First question, 18 marks, which means 6 marks
For
each.
each, yes.
And then 10 marks, 5 marks each for finding the meaning of the words or
Yes.
finding the words that match with the meanings in 4 and 5. Now we have 12 marks for 2 questions, which means 6 marks each. Please read the rubric.
Okay, rewrite these sentences about the text to correct the information.
So we have wrong information.
Yes,
and the
students
student
should rewrite them.
The whole sentence.
Yes, from the text.
from the text.
Sure.
Yeah.
Number 6. Babies usually sleep less than adults.
This
In
is
the text-
absolutely wrong, but
Yes.
we need to look for the correction in the text.
Yes, the correction is babies usually sleep more than adults because in the text, babies need about 16 hours a day, while many teenagers need average of 9 hours.
So here the student needs to write the whole correction, not only more than less. So not to replace the word less with more. He needs to rewrite the whole sentence, writing babies usually sleep more than adults. This is full meaning. If he added about how you mentioned, it is no problem. And if he just wrote the sentence correctly, he will
will
take
get the mark.
full mark.
Yes.
Number 7, Mr. Sulwan, please.
Yes. Many traffic accidents happen because of drivers who feel alert.
Alert.
Now, full alert is a mistake. There is a mistake here in this sense here. It means that we wanted to go back to the text in order
Yes.
to find the exact word. It means that drivers do not feel alert. Yes, because of drivers who feel alert is a mistake.
So it can be who feel sleepy, who feel tired, yeah, who fall asleep.
Yes, fall asleep. Means that if we wanted to correct the sentence, many traffic accidents happen because of drivers
Who fall asleep.
At the wheel.
at the wheel, yes,
Yeah.
exactly, are responsible for thousands of traffic accidents every year. It means that if students write, motorists who fall asleep at the wheel are responsible for thousands of traffic accidents every year, it is accepted because he has given the same meaning.
Yeah,
exactly
he
the
just
same
copied
meaning.
it from the text.
Yes,
It is
yes,
accepted.
copied
And
it,
if the student is strong enough to write just the whole sentence, but instead of getting alert, he changes with
Changes.
fall asleep at the wheel,
Yes, fall asleep.
full mark.
Exactly.
We move to the second half of the page, second text, and we didn't just give the hint that the first text usually from the students or activity books.
book.
The second half is from the supplementary.
Scientific
And
or
since
literary.
this is scientific exam, it is from the scientific supplementary book, Antibiotics. Antibiotics is a lesson in their supplementary book. Again, we're going to read the questions before, then we try to find the answers to these questions while reading. So not reading for nothing, reading to find the answers. The answers to the questions, we need to know what the questions are. Ms. Ula?
Okay, in this case, we have alternatives. So
Yes.
they have to choose A, B, or C.
Multiple choice, A, B, or C,
exactly.
yes?
Choose the correct answer, A, B, or C. Antibiotics are useful to cure many illnesses, allow bacteria to multiply, spread infections. Of course, we can answer the question without reading, but they shouldn't do that.
Logically,
Okay, but they shouldn't do
yeah.
that. They should to make
They have to
sure.
go back to the text in
Exactly,
order
to make sure,
that
to
the
make
answer
sure.
is right.
Using the same antibiotics over and over again makes the body, the bacteria, stronger to kill, unable to fight, or able to attack.
Now, will you please read the text?
Yes, please. Antibiotics are incredibly useful and they have transformed modern medicine. However, there is a danger that we use them too much. The more we use antibiotics, the more the bacteria they fight get used to them and build up a resistance. There are many reasons why this might happen. Often, patients stop taking a course of antibiotics when they start to feel better, but before all the bacteria have been eliminated. This means that the bacteria that survive are the strongest and the most resistant. These resistant bacteria will multiply and spread, and in the future will not be eliminated by the same antibiotics. There is a real danger that these new superbugs could cause diseases that antibiotics are unable to fight. It is very important not to overuse antibiotics in order to prevent bacteria from becoming too resistant. Try to avoid antibiotics unless strictly necessary, and if you are taking them, make sure you take everything prescribed and don't just stop when you feel better. You should always wash your hands, especially when you feel ill, to make sure you kill all the resistant bacteria.
Okay. So antibiotics are useful to cure
Of course, to cure many illnesses.
cure
many
many illnesses.
illnesses.
Exactly.
Exercise 9, Mr.
Because
Suwan.
yes, because if you wanted to go back to the text, the first sentence said antibiotics are incredibly useful. So useful, this is
For medicine.
non-referential questions. So sometimes we have referential questions, sometimes we have non-referential questions.
Yes,
to the
it depends on how much the student can have vocabulary
Exactly.
to understand the text.
So the answer is cure many illnesses. The second one, using the same antibiotics over and over again makes the body unable to fight. Unable to fight. If you go back to the text, in the second paragraph, you can see the superbugs could cause diseases that antibiotics are unable to fight.
Exactly.
So this is exactly the answer here is located in this in the second paragraph. So the answer should be B, unable to
Unable
fight.
to fight. So the student can write either letter B,
B.
or the answer unable to fight, or both.
Exactly.
So he has the
He
choice.
has the choice, yes.
Miss Sana, read the rubric of the following question.
Okay.
Match.
Match two of the underlined words from the text to the definitions or meanings below. Now, in the text, we have three words. They are the synonyms of the explanation below. They are in black and underlined. The first question, number 10, the ability to stop something from harming you. The answer is resistance.
Resistance.
Yeah.
So the ability to stop something from harming you is
Yeah.
resistance. And number 11,
number
continue
11.
to live or exist,
Is survive.
survive.
So we have an extra word here.
So the extra word is
Is
clear. And this kind of exercise is easier than the previous one
Yeah,
because we
underlined,
have,
yeah.
and in this case, only the underlined words are accepted. You cannot choose any word other than the underlined ones. We move to the following question. Ms. Rula, will you please read the rubric?
Match two of the underlined words
So we
from...
finished this, the complete the following sentences.
Complete.
Okay. Complete the following sentences with information from the text. Number 12, patients who start to feel better while taking antibiotics shouldn't stop when they feel better.
Yes. So it is
Number
from the
20,
text.
shouldn't
Here the
stop.
completion
Yeah.
should be from the
Shouldn't
text.
stop taking a course.
Course of antibiotics.
Antibiotics, yes, when they feel start. Yes.
Miss Aula,
13.
number 13.
Cleaning the hands helps people to make sure they kill all the resistant bacteria.
It is mentioned at the end of the
The
text,
last one.
exactly. Second page, Miss Hiba, please, our brave director. The second wave of the exam paper, we start at the beginning with missing words. These missing words, as students should know, and as you know, are functional,
Functional can be
which
from
means can
anywhere.
be articles, pronouns,
Prepositions.
prepositions,
Relative pronouns.
conjunctions, relative pronouns, but not
Auxiliary
main
verbs.
verbs and not nouns.
Exactly.
And they can see them while reading the text in their books. If they read their books properly, immediately the missing word will pop in there. So we don't have a rule to solve this exercise, except that it depends on how much they read.
So it
in
means
the
that this
textbook.
exercise has two plays. It is difficult at the same time, and it is very easy at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the easiest one is, it means that the spelling or the words are very easy. It means that the words consist of 2 letters or 3 or 5 most.
And
5
functional,
letters.
they don't have
Yeah,
a
they're
meaning.
functional.
The difficulty is that most students will feel difficulty in this one. They don't know how which word should be.
So they should look for signs.
Exactly, exactly.
That's why we say don't look for rules, depend on your mentality, your sense, how much you have English in your mind. Instinctively answer. We start, Mr. Suwan, the law related to computer crime.
Okay. So number 3, complete the following paragraph by filling in the gaps. So this exercise is allotted 18 marks.
Yes.
Number
3
14.
questions
Yeah, 3
and
questions.
6 marks
for
each.
Yes. 14, the law related to computer crime. is
Is
changing.
Because
Yeah.
we have
Quickly,
verb
because the
ing.
verb ing.
So the
we
hint
need-
here is the ing.
Yes, because is here, the subject is the law. The law is
It's
singular.
singular.
So we need what to use
Exactly.
the is changing very quickly. Now, full stop
Miss
this.
Miss Sana, can you continue?
Number?
Number 15.
Number 15.
In recent years.
Yes, in recent years, computer crimes have increased,
Now, here we used in because in is used with
Recent.
months, years, seasons.
Yes, exactly.
But with days, we use on.
On,
The
yes.
students need to know this before the exam.
Exactly.
On is used with days,
Days.
and more than one day, it is in. In
Yeah.
2 days, in years, in months. So in recent years, crimes has increased.
increased as the number or because the number of people
So here
using
we
the
have
internet-
many equivalents.
Yeah.
Since the number, as
Can
the
use it
number,
as,
because the number,
for,
for
can
the
use-
number of.
exactly.
Yeah, thank you. Miss Saula,
The next one is going to be from the stories at the back of the supplement book.
and again, this is from the supplementary
The
book.
supplementary book. From the stories, we have like 5 stories or so.
Yeah, 5 stories.
Okay, we're going to have the words. They just need to fill in the spaces with the words
Mm-hmm.
given.
Exactly.
Fill in the spaces with the words from the list.
Sometimes students can do it without reading.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because the words are only suitable for their
Yeah, it
own.
depends upon the
And there's
understanding
one
of the
extra
students.
one. There's an extra one. So fill in the spaces with words from the list. Use each word once only. Lessons, successful, youngest, nothing new.
Yes.
This is about Marie Curie. Mary's mother died when her daughter. So we need an adjective to be used with daughter.
Yeah.
We have her youngest daughter.
Youngest
Was
daughter.
only 10.
Yes.
We actually here we have more than one adjective. We have successful, and the student can try all the choices.
Of course.
But in
Exactly.
the end, maybe
Appropriate.
successful can be fit here, but it will not fit for younger in
different
the
one.
suitable place for the other word. So in the end, he will find out which one is the best to use. So youngest daughter was only 10. Miss Rula, continue.
From then on, Mary knew that she would have to work hard. Here we have to use a verb, and knew is the answer. Mary knew that she would have to work hard at her lessons.
Now, if we try to advise the student who doesn't know exactly which word, he can try all the words.
Yes.
From the beginning, Mary's mother died when her lessons daughter, not correct. Successful daughter, maybe.
It works.
Youngest, maybe. Nothing, no. New, no. So we have 2 choices. We'll try to continue. Then it was
Appropriate
only 10.
ones.
From then on, Mary lessons that, no. Successful that, no. Youngest that, nothing. New. New is the only
It's very
accepted
only
word,
verb.
so we
Exactly.
fill it. Then we knew Mr. Sulwan
Yes.
would have
19.
Yes,
to work
19, yes, that she would have to work hard at her lessons.
at her lessons.
Her lessons, yes,
Again, the
because-
student
have a
can
noun.
try
Yes.
her successful
Yes.
or her youngest, her nothing. So lessons.
Because, yeah,
is the suitable
because
word.
We need a noun here
yes,
because
her is an adjective
After bus,
and must be followed by a noun.
It's a
So
possessive
lessons is a
adjective
noun.
and it needs
Yes,
a noun.
Exactly. If she wanted to be successful,
Successful.
in her life.
Now here we need an adjective. If
Yes.
the student puts successful daughter up, can youngest fit here?
No.
No.
It's not something
So
she wants
now
to.
he can change. If he
Yes.
put it up, he can change now. In the end, he will find that successful does not fit here. Successful fits here, but be youngest cannot be.
No.
Cannot fit.
Okay.
Be successful,
So
yes.
here the student can do it properly.
Exactly.
Miss Rula, exercise 5V.
Complete the following dialogue by writing suitable questions or answers. Write at least 3 words for each question.
So for the scientific section, they have 32 marks,
Yes.
Yes.
which means 8 marks for
For
each.
each one.
And here, it must be WH question.
Yes,
And we
of
have
course.
2 types of students, strong ones and
And
weak
weak
ones.
ones.
The strong ones can write immediately the correct question. The weak ones can
They can
change
try
into a
yes,
yes-no
no
question.
questions, yes.
Then they can delete the answer and replace it with
Add
Question word.
a question word.
Yes.
So we're going to say the answer for the strong ones and
And
to
the-
help the weak ones.
Yes.
Yes, read the answer, Ms. Rula, then we try to give the
Yes.
question.
Number 21, Ruba. Now Khalid. Animals migrate to find food or to raise their young.
So,
Here.
from to find, it means
There is
where there is a reason.
Yes.
And to ask about a reason,
Why?
we use why.
We use the word why.
So give us the question for the strong student.
The question for the strong students, they will use the word why.
Why?
Why, and here we have present simple.
Here, present simple.
Present simple.
We use
do, does,
or
do
does.
or does. Here we have plural noun, animals. We use do.
Do.
Why do animals migrate?
Yes. And weaker ones can
Weaker ones
change
can
it
change
to
it to yes/no questions. For
Do-
example,
do animals migrate
migrate to
to
find
find
food
food?
or to raise their young? Then they delete the answer
to find
to
food,
find
or
food
to raise their young,
and
and they put.
then they add the question word, which
Thank
is
you
why.
so much.
Yes.
Miss Sana, 22.
Number 22, Khalid says the answer. They often migrate twice a year.
Again, what tense
Now-
is it?
Yes, simple,
Simple present.
simple
And we
present.
have it twice, which means
Twice
we are
refer
going
or
to
it
ask
indicates
about
repetition and
frequency.
frequency.
exactly.
Yes, so we use how often as a question word. And this is simple present, so we start with how often do they
migrate
migrate?
a year.
Yes.
Exactly.
How often do they
How often
migrate a
migrate
year?
a year.
Yes, thank you. And if we are going to make it yes/no question, do they migrate
migrate
twice
twice a year?
a
A
year?
year.
Then we say how often and delete twice,
Exactly.
because twice is the answer. Mr. Suwan,
Yeah,
number
23.
24, 23, sorry.
Khaled said, they usually travel to warmer places.
Again, it is simple
Yes,
present
present
tense.
simple tense. To warmer places, it is a place.
Yes.
So it means that the student should use the W question where.
Where?
So
To
it's,
ask about a place, we use
exactly.
where.
And the tense is present simple also here. So we use here where do they usually travel.
Someone is asking about the missing words
Yes. Can you
to
read it,
explain
please?
more. No, it's in Arabic, so
You
he's
can
asking-
change it into English.
Okay, he's asking about to explain more about the missing words. The question about the missing words. We've already done that, but
Yes, we said we don't have a
he said
rule.
please, so because he said please, we need to say something.
Yes, we are going to say something.
Fine.
We don't have a rule. This just depends about our reading, previous reading. If we read the text already at least 3 times, we will remember. Now, for example, if I read about Damascus is famous for, Damascus is famous for.
Famous for.
If we have the question with some missing words, Damascus space famous for, it's clear that Damascus is. But if the missing word was after famous, Damascus is famous something, for will pop up. So the student needs to read the text at least 3 times, paying attention to the articles, the, and, to the verb to be
Pronouns.
auxiliaries,
Yes.
pronouns, so that, and he
Prepositions.
can make it kind of a game. To take the word or to put his finger on the article and read it, then take away his finger and see the answer, and in the exam he will do well, I think. If you
So-
have something to add, it's
No,
okay.
there's nothing. Actually, there is no one rule, but they have to look for hints. So
Yes.
if we have ing, we can look for the verb to be. If we have past participle, we have to look for have or has.
Yes,
Sometimes
exactly.
like famous for, interested in, dedicated to, dispose
And
of.
even prepositions are learned by heart. We don't have a
Exactly,
rule.
Even let's
Phrasal
say-
verbs.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
phrasal verbs.
Phrasal verbs, prepositions. So they need to practice. There's
Yes, to
nothing more to be
practice. It
said.
depends upon the understanding.
Exactly,
Because
understanding and
sometimes-
practice.
Yes, exactly. Sometimes it is related to grammar. Like when we say in recent years, so in is used for years. Yes.
Exactly.
And sometimes we use for passive voice. For
Passive
example,
voice,
here can
verb to
be,
be.
would
Exactly,
be, yes,
can
would
be,
be.
have been.
I read something I want just to
yes.
mention.
About Arabic?
Yes.
In Arabic, he says it's nonsense because you are explaining in English and they don't understand even Arabic. This is our problem. This is our problem. They don't understand Arabic and they will not understand English. But we're here to be models for B2. The baccalaureate students are B2 students. If the level is low, does not mean that to go to explain in Arabic,
Exactly.
it's not our job. We are going to improve it from the lower levels until now, but it's shame to explain in Arabic.
Of course.
And all those who explain in Arabic should feel ashamed.
They're making
exactly.
a bigger gap.
Yeah, and they are the reason to deteriorating English language teaching.
So anyway, we are trying to be slow and use simple words and explain and
Yeah,
repeat.
baccalaureate means B2. So how can he finish the B2 if he cannot understand even Arabic?
Yes.
Anyway, they just need
But
to look and.
thanks for his
Of course. Thank you for-
complimentary
It means they're following.
sentence.
So it's
Yeah.
a good way.
Good. Who wants to continue?
The question is number 23.
We have a question to be
So
answered.
I've already,
How can we predict,
yes,
right?
23. They usually travel to warmer places. I've already said that. So warmer places is a place. So we should use here the W question where for a place. And the present is present simple here. So
And
we
the
use here the
plural
auxiliary verb
subject.
do. Where do they usually travel?
Travel.
Yes, travel.
And if we make it yes/no question for the weaker ones, do
They
they
usually
usually travel to warmer places?
Exactly.
We delete warmer places and we put where at the beginning of the question, and it becomes
Exactly.
where do they usually travel to?
Yes, exactly.
The following one is a question, and the student needs to write at least 3 words.
Choice for this
Close.
semester.
Subject and verb, at least. So how can we protect animals? We can protect animals by
By keeping them in a wildlife, by keeping them in zoos, for example. This is
For example.
samples.
Okay,
Yeah.
any logical
Stop
completion,
hunting.
but
Yes.
it needs subject
For
and
example, we
verb.
should stop hunting, for example.
Yes.
You can use should.
Exactly. Yes,
It should be logical, of course.
yes.
I cannot say by playing,
No.
for example.
Or
We need a
yes.
subject and a verb.
Verb, yes.
The following question, which is number 6 in the Latin VI, Miss Aula.
Yes.
Rewrite
Rewrite the following sentences as required in brackets. So here we have 4 types of sentences: wish, passive voice, reported speech, and causative verb.
This is essential. Every year,
Every year.
we have this kind of exam question, so the students need to master the causative and to use only verb have, not other verbs, and the passive voice, the reporting, and wish.
I like to put them in 2 groups, actually. The passive voice and the causative verb. We form the verb to be, verb to have as the tense of the sentence. With wish and reported speech, we have to go a step back.
Yes,
Use
they are
the
very
back
similar
shift.
because
Yeah,
we
back
go
shift.
one step back, yes.
Yeah,
back
back
We
shift.
can start
Yes.
with 25. Many women don't make their dresses themselves. Here they are asked to use the causative verb have. We have to look for the tense of the sentence. Don't make. So we have to use the tense, which is a present simple, and the opposite. It's in negative. We have to use it in passive.
Passive.
So
Exactly.
many women, they don't make, they have. They
Yes.
have. We are talking about their dresses, so they have them, and the verb is make. We use it in the past participle.
Yes.
They have them made.
Yes.
And of course, we must not write themselves.
Yes,
It
themselves
should
is not
not be,
accepted.
because it's quite the opposite, so we cannot use it.
Exactly. So the student needs to use the verb to have.
Have.
If it is negative, he says have in the positive, have or has. If the sentence in the
Positive.
active one is positive, for example, women make their dresses,
Make
the answer
They
should
don't.
be don't
They
have.
don't have.
Yes,
them.
exactly.
Them.
And the student needs to pay attention to the tense. If it is simple present, it should be have or has in the answer. If it is past,
Had,
it should be
had, or
had
didn't
or
have.
didn't have, and so on.
And again, they should pay attention to the pronoun. Their dresses, this is them.
This-
If
yeah.
it's her
Okay.
dress, for example, it's it.
Yes,
So
yes.
sometimes it's have it or have them.
Exactly.
Yes,
So
yes.
it means
So,
that the students either, let's say, either to abide by with the same object or to substitute with it or them.
Yes.
To make it clear, I'm going to repeat the answer.
Okay.
Yes.
Many women don't make their dresses themselves. They have them made.
Yes.
Yes, and if they wrote themselves in the answer,
They're
they
going
will
to
lose
lose marks.
they will lose
Marks.
marks. So never rewrite the word himself, herself, themselves in the answer.
Understand? Yes, exactly.
We move, and we are going to the student. We are going to explain this grammar after we finish doing the exam paper. So don't worry if you didn't understand now. You will have them again the same webinar. Miss Sana,
Number
the
26.
passive voice.
Yes. Human activities have destroyed the natural environment.
So the student needs first to look for the subject, the agent, and the verb and the object, not to look for the rest, because the rest
Yes.
of the completion is not the
Okay,
target.
sure. Yes.
The target is the object.
Yes.
He needs to find the object to put it at the beginning. Please do
Yes,
it.
we need to use the object at first, then the verb to be according to the tense. Here we have the present perfect, and then the verb 3.
Mhm.
Now the object here is the natural environment.
The natural environment.
Yes, has been destroyed by human
Yeah.
activities.
So why did you use has when in the
Yes, according to the
original
object.
one it is have?
Yeah, according to the object.
Yes. So the
object
student
is
needs to be
singular.
careful.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
If he sees have, not necessarily can be used in the with the object, because if the object is uncountable or singular,
Yes.
it should be has, even though it is have in the original sentence. Yes, thank you. So the object is natural, the natural environment at the beginning. The natural environment has been destroyed, because in the present perfect we use been after have. Thank you. Reported speech. Miss
Number
Rula.
27. Have you tasted Indian food?
Have you
Report-
tasted Indian food? What tense is it?
Here we have present perfect.
So we need to go to the
Yes.
past
Perfect.
perfect.
Yes. Before that, it's a
question.
yes/no question,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to pay attention to that. Report using she asked him. She asked him if. We
If.
use if
If
or
or
whether.
whether.
Yes. She asked him if he, sorry.
Since it is him, so the pronoun you is going to be he.
He.
So him determines which pronoun to be used.
To be.
If it is them, if they.
They.
Her, if she. Him,
Me, I.
if he. Yeah.
Yes, right.
Yes. She asked him if he had tasted Indian food.
So
Here
have
we have.
became had.
Yes, here we have present perfect. We change it to past perfect. We change the pronouns, and we have to pay attention that we invert or change the order of the subject and the
Yes,
verb.
yes,
Exactly.
yes.
And we have to use a full stop, not
Not
a
question mark.
mark.
So no question mark is used because it is no longer a question.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so
So
much.
they have to pay attention to three things.
Yes.
The pronoun, to put it in the past,
Yes.
step
To go a step
back,
To go back, yes.
and some words like for today, that day,
Exactly.
yesterday, the day
Yes.
before.
Yeah, the
things
adverbs
like
of
that.
time are going to be. So everything near will be far.
Far,
Yes. Mr. Suwan,
Yes,
question number 28.
I
It's
come
about
to
wish.
play, yes, I come to play the piano. Use I wish. Yes. So the answer should be I. So can't here should be changed into could because it is negative. So we use here positive.
Yes, so
So
the
this is
negative
the-
becomes after wish
Yes.
positive, and positive
It
becomes
becomes
either
negative.
negative or something different.
Yes.
So
the
here what-
opposite,
what
the
we ad-
opposite usually. You
Yes.
usually use the opposite.
After wish is the opposite to reality.
Exactly.
Always.
Yes.
Wish is opposite to reality.
Yes.
So the positive can become negative or something
Negative.
different, and the negative can
Can
be
be
positive.
Okay,
Exactly.
someone is asking about the causative verb, if it's okay to write the nouns instead of the pronouns.
Yes, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, so just, it's okay to write, they're writing,
Yeah,
it's okay
you
to
can
write,
say-
many women have their dresses made.
Made, yes.
It's okay,
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
just
accepted.
to answer the question.
Exactly, yes. So the answer is number 28, use I wish. I wish I could play the piano.
Yeah. So can became could, and as Ms. Rula said, the order of the subject and the verb changes as in a sentence. Not, it is not a question anymore.
Exactly.
It's not if can, if could I. It should be if I could. I wish I could play the piano well.
Yes.
And if the student just said, I wish I could, it is accepted, but it's better to write a
The
full
whole sentence.
sentence. Let's go to the following question, Ms. Hiba. Go down, yes, please.
And again, one of the students are asking about this question in particular.
Complete.
Completion,
Sentence
yes.
completion.
How to complete, to
completion.
give advice about
Yes.
completion.
Miss Hiba, we want the upper side, please. Yes, go down, yes, yes, yes. Go down so that we see it,
Down,
because
down,
here
down.
it is
Yes.
the completion. What advice can we give the students before we start?
They have to pay attention that it's a clause.
Yes.
Not
They
the
should-
sentence.
exactly.
So
Yes.
the completion should have a
Should-
subject and a verb.
and
Yes.
a logical meaning.
And
Yes.
if the sentence is in the present, it can be completed
in the present.
in the present
or
or
in the
future.
Or future, yes.
If it is in the
the
past,
It should be,
It should
most
be-
probably, it should
yes,
be in
yes,
the
in
past.
or
some,
could be
sometimes,
present.
sometimes we can mix,
Of
but
course.
for the
Mix, yes.
students, we advise
So
them
that they
the
don't
Especially
make
past.
for the
mistake.
advanced
The past.
students, if it is the sentence in the past,
Stick to the
yes,
past.
it could be completed in the
Yeah,
present.
it is a bit
But this is
risky.
especially for the strongest students, not for the weakest students.
Now, the first question is if sentence. So here they have a rule. We have 4 types,
If
0,
you
1,
want to
2, and 3.
succeed in your job, we have succeed, it's a present simple.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to continue with the simple future or present simple.
Yes.
But
And here again, I want to advise the students. They need to make sure if they are going to complete using the simple present in the result clause, the beginning should be frequent. If it is just happens
once.
one time,
It's
they-
future.
it should be
Simple
future.
Yes.
Now, if you want to succeed, this can be a habit or can be permanent. So in this exercise, they can say
present simple,
You-
zero conditional. can be
zero
Zero
or
conditional.
future, both are
simple,
accepted.
first.
They are-
So since future is always accepted,
Use
I advise
future.
to use future.
Yes.
If you
But
want
the
to
stronger
succeed in
students, as Mr. Suwan said, they can
Yes, they can do it.
show their muscles.
Exactly, yes.
If you want to succeed in your job, you will have to work hard, for example.
You will have to
They,
work
they don't
hard.
have to write complicated
No, no, no,
sentences.
just a simple
Just write a
sentences,
subject, a verb,
simple
and the
words.
logical meaning.
You must study.
You must
Yes.
study.
You will have to
Simple
love it.
words. Yes,
Yes.
you will have good.
Number 30, Miss Rula, I broke my glasses.
I broke my
This is
glasses.
past.
Past.
So here we have a result. And the sentence is in the past. We can complete it with the past. I broke my glasses, so I couldn't see.
Someone
can-
may say it's okay to say I will have to buy new ones. Now,
Yes, it's
again,
okay.
we're here to cover all types of students.
Yes.
Yes.
If the student is strong, he can complete in a way, but it is on his risk. He may lose and he may get. What we advise the student, if it is in the past, to complete in the past, to be on the safe side.
Yes,
Not
exactly.
because the other equivalents are not accepted, but we advise him here to be on the safe side,
side.
to
Yes.
not lose the
To
marks.
be safe, they use the past.
I broke my glasses, so I bought
I bet you new
New
ones.
ones.
new
Exactly.
ones. This is full completion.
Yes.
So I was sad.
Yes.
So my dad was angry. Any completion in the past is accepted.
Yes.
And if the student is strong, he can use other. But to be on the safe side, complete the past with past suitable and the present with
the
present or
the
future. Now we move to choosing between 2 words. Exercise
Choose it.
number 8.
Choose the correct words in brackets.
Again, here
31.
depends on comprehension.
Yes.
And knowing the meaning of the word and the usage of the
Parts of
adjective
speech,
or
so, yeah.
adverb with nouns, with verbs. We use adjectives to modify nouns, we use adverbs to modify
By verbs.
verbs, and so on.
Yes.
31, Ms. Sana.
Yes, 31. Many recycling or recycle factories were built in our town.
So
Here
we have
the
factories.
noun. Here we have the noun. The noun is usually preceded by an adjective.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have recycling and recycle. Recycling is the adjective, so it's the correct
Yes.
answer.
Yeah. So the noun needs to have an adjective. It should be recycling. The correct answer is recycling. Thank you. Mr. Suwan,
Yes, number
32.
2, yeah, 32. When I was at 12, I did make the decision. Here there is what we call collocation. It means that
Yes.
we need
Yeah.
to join between do, make, and the noun that precedes. So decision here must be The answer must be made.
Made, because
Yes,
decision
made.
is mental
Mental
activity,
mental activity.
and mental activities take make.
Yes.
But the movement, physical
activity.
movement, take do,
Do.
and we're going to explain these two verbs in details after we finish the exam. And actually, my advice to the students to learn the verbs that
By
you
heart.
would make by heart
Yes.
and by do by heart, so that they don't make mistakes.
Exactly.
Yes, whose turn, Ms. Rula? Number 33.
33, this man had 3 villas. He can't be, must be rich.
So, we have a
he-
sentence. He has villas.
So he has 3 villas. That means he must be rich.
He must be, because can't be poor.
Possible.
Yes, and here is the difference between can't be
Exactly,
or
yes.
must be.
And we're going to talk about it.
Yes,
So,
we're
yes,
going to talk about it.
possibility.
Miss Ula, the
Now,
following.
the following one is about tenses.
Mhm.
To correct the verbs in brackets. Number 34, and we're going to talk a little about that. My father retired after he. So we have hints. Retired, my father retired, and something happened before he retired. When we talk about 2 actions, one happened before the other. The first one is in the past perfect. Past perfect, it means had past participle. So in this case, my father retired before his retirement. He had finished the project. So my father retired after he had finished, because he finished first, then he retired.
Yes, he can write the past perfect because we have 2 actions, as you said.
And
but
we can-
if the student wrote
Past simple.
after he finished simple past, it is accepted.
It's accepted, of course, because we have after.
Yes,
So after
after
gave the
shows
meaning.
clearly which one happened first, so we can use both verbs in the simple past tense. Miss
Exactly.
Sana, number 35.
Yes, number 35. Hassan writes an essay all morning. He's very tired now. Now, in this sentence, we have all.
All
refers
and
to
time.
length of time.
All plus time means a long time. So the focus here is on the duration.
Yes, in the length of time. So the answer
And we have a
is,
result.
yeah,
He is very tired.
This is the result. of
Present
this.
result
Yes.
of
Action.
past activity. This is what we say, use the present perfect continuous.
Now,
When we
so,
have present result,
Hassan has been writing
yes.
an essay all morning.
Hassan has been writing an essay all morning. He is tired now.
This is the result, yeah.
If the student wrote, Hassan has written an essay all morning, he will not lose marks
Yes.
maybe, but it is not okay because
Not the
all
same
morning
Yes.
tells him that he needs to use the continuous verb. 36, Miss Rula, read it. This is
36,
controversial,
Yes.
and I hope we talked about it.
Yeah.
We talked
When
about
Sa-
it last year, and now we're going to, again, to focus on it.
When Sami graduates, he traveled to London.
This is conditional sentence.
Yes.
And it is, can be
When
either
we talk
type
about
0.
graduation, yes. When we talk about graduations, which happens only once.
One time.
Yes, one time.
In one level, it is one time. High school, you graduate one time from high school, and you graduate one time from university, so this is not a permanent action.
Yes.
This is not frequent. Not
So it
like writing or playing or something like this. So,
So we are
zero
talking
type
about-
is not accepted here.
So here we are talking about a possibility in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So when Sami graduates, he will travel to London.
And if a student wrote he travels,
No.
it's not accepted.
Yes, that is not accepted.
because it is
It's
not
not a
a
habit
fact-
or-
habit
yes.
or
It's
a
not
fact.
habit.
It is
Yes,
just
it's not
something that
fact or
happens
a-
one time.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
We move to translation. Miss
And
Aula?
again, one of the students asked about the translation, if we can give advice.
Yes.
Okay, about the number 37, most probably it's going to be from the supplement book.
Yeah, from
English to Arabic, English to
exactly.
Arabic. And they have to pay attention. In Arabic, we start with the verb,
Yes.
not in with the subject, like in
Yes.
English. In English, we
It's
start with the
unlike English.
subject, unlike English.
Exactly.
Virtual reality allows people to live, work, and interact with others in an electronic world. So, first of all, they have to read the sentence to get the whole meaning of the
meaning.
sentence. They can move to translating each word on its own. After that, they can translate the whole sentence, literary translation, and they can reform if there's something that is not suitable to the target language. For Arabic here, in this case, it's Arabic. You read it in Arabic. If you feel that it's not really smooth or something, change things to make it better in Arabic, the target
to
language.
decorate it. Yeah.
Redecorate
Yes,
it, let's say
decorate,
that
yes.
way.
And I want to tell the students something, that usually in the correcting center, the translation sentence is divided either to 2 parts or to
Parts.
3 parts. And every part is judged separately.
Exactly.
So they can write what they know so that they don't take
Lose one.
0. And if they didn't understand everything, it's not necessary to leave it.
Exactly.
Translate, even if it is word by word, you will take marks according to what you have written as a student. Virtual reality allows people to live is one part. Work and interact with others can be another part. In an electronic world
So
can be a
it can be
third.
3
Yes, sir.
parts.
Yes.
This one.
In
Virtual-
Arabic, we're going to start
Virtual
with the verb.
reality يسمح الواقع الافتراضي للناس بالعيش والعمل والتفاعل. In Arabic we can use wa, not like in
Yes,
English.
exactly.
So بالعيش والعمل والتفاعل مع الآخرين في عالم إلكتروني.
And they can say أن يعيشوا ويعملوا.
أن يعيشوا ويعملوا ويتفاعلوا مع الآخرين في عالم إلكتروني.
Any logical translation is
accepted.
accepted.
Yes.
I feel like now they're happy they've heard Arabic.
Yes.
Yeah. And God willing, we will delete this kind of a question in the exam
Hopefully,
paper so
hopefully.
that no one will say we want Arabic, and no one is learning Arabic language in English.
Unfortunately, they don't get that the problem is that they are always waiting for the Arabic,
Yeah.
for the Arabic translation.
Yeah.
They are always, that's the problem with most of the students.
Yes.
In classroom, for some teachers, they speak in English, then they explain in Arabic. So no one is listening to the English part. They are
Yeah,
always
waiting
waiting for
for
the
the-
Arabic.
Yeah, they're
They will
waiting for
say,
someone
yeah.
to speak Arabic.
They will say it in Arabic, so why to bother?
Exactly.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
now
Why to
they
focus?
have problems, and I am sure if they pay attention, they will understand. They
course.
just give us a chance
course.
to understand because everything is quite clear.
Exactly.
They don't need to say it in Arabic.
Yeah, the following translation from Arabic into
Arabic
English,
to
usually
English.
from the students or activity books.
Here we have, they begin with a verb, but the
In
student,
Arabic, we start with
the
a verb.
student must,
In English, should be
they
the
don't
noun.
have to begin with the verb, they have to begin with the subject. Translate the following sentence into English. دفع السائق غرامة لمخالفته القانون. So they have to begin with the subject. The subject is the driver.
Driver.
The driver paid a fine for breaking the law.
Yes.
They can write it in another way.
Yeah. Any logical
Different-
translation is
different tense,
accepted.
maybe.
And the composition, it is from the background of the student, how much sentences he has done already. He knows how to write sentences, but luckily or unfortunately, most of the students learn by heart ready-made compositions
Yes, exactly.
and write them. And we hope we are going, not hoping, we're working on changing this to make sure that the student is going to write the composition himself. How? By giving a question about composition, not from the book.
Outside of
And this should
Yes.
happen.
This will happen in the future, not next year, of course. This is our hope, so that teachers stop writing ready-made compositions and asking them to memorize.
And they move to teaching them
Yeah,
how
teaching
to write.
them, yeah. So our problems is our teachers, not our students.
Concerning the translation, I wanted to say something about
Please.
translation. Now, translation is very important for the students. First, they wanted.
Ms. Hiba, can we start until Mr. Sawan continues the grammar file, the PowerPoint? Can we open the PowerPoint? Yes, please,
Yes.
sir.
So translation is very important because the students first must know the meaning of the sentence, the whole sentence. So students must translate the soul of the sentence, not word by word. So it is very important not to translate word by word.
As a first step.
Yes, first step. So it is not accepted in the examination.
Yeah, of course.
So they wanted to explain, to translate the soul
Yeah,
of
thank you for correcting me,
Yes,
but
so
what
all
I
the
said
things.
was so that they don't lose all marks.
Yes.
Yeah, it should be logical, it should be coherence. They will have marks for every sentence, the usage of grammar, the spelling. Yeah, all these are going to be noticed. But I'm saying don't leave it blank.
Yeah, exactly.
Write what
Yeah,
you know,
write what you
and
want
you will
somebody
be
does.
judged for that. We finished doing the exam paper, and we're going to talk about grammar. Exam webinar for English. Miss Hiba, let's move. When I say next, if you please. Miss Ola,
Okay.
the floor is yours to talk about linking the past with the
Okay, we're
present.
going to talk about the grammar revision as it is in the book.
Yes,
So
as
in the
it
book,
is in the book.
we started with the perfect. Present perfect, simple, present perfect, continuous. Past perfect, simple, past perfect, continuous. To start with, how to link the past with the present, we link them by using present perfect, simple, and continuous. We use verbs in the present perfect, simple, and continuous. So this is a general introduction about the present perfect, simple, and continuous, to link actions or events which started in the past with the present. So we are linking the past with the present. Example, they have broken the law, they should be punished. In this example, the law was broken in the past. We are thinking about the future punishment now. So linking the past to the present. He's been studying law for 3 years. He started studying 3 years ago and is still studying now.
Yeah,
So the
continuous.
first use for present perfect, link the past with the present.
the present,
The second
yes.
one, with for or since to refer a period of time. Example, I've lived here for 3 years or since 2006.
So we use for with duration of time and since with
Specific
a point
time or point
in
of
time.
They've been studying at university for 5 years since 2004.
Or since 2004. Next, Miss Hiba.
This is a general introduction about present perfect in general.
Miss Rula, the following
Yes.
slide.
We use the present perfect symbol to talk about the fact that something happened in the past. For example, I've swam in the Dead Sea.
Here the time is not mentioned.
Not mentioned.
It's
So
not important.
it is
so we
similar
are
to
talking
the
about
past
something
simple.
happened in the past, and there
We
is no
don't-
reference to
No
the past.
time reference. Thank you. So when we have time reference, it is the
Simple
simple
past.
past.
Yes.
Here, something happened in the past, but we don't know when. The
When,
time
yes.
is not mentioned. We use the present perfect.
And we use it to talk about a past experience or achievement with a definite result in the present. For example, I've broken my leg, which means I can't go skiing this year. I've passed my driving test, so I can borrow his car next week.
Yes. So
So-
usually when we use the present perfect, there must be a connection with the present. It is past action, but
And the present
they must
result.
have connection
Result.
with the present.
Yes. And we use the present perfect
Continuous.
continuous to talk about an activity which continues over a length of time. For example, I have been reading a book about the history of making. And
So here we talk about something started in the past,
And
continued
continues.
without stop till the
So we have
present,
links of time.
and may continue. And actually, when we use the continuous tenses, the meaning is not finished.
yes, it means
It's incomplete. Usually, when the action is incomplete, we use the continuous tense.
continuous.
Yeah, thank you. Continue.
To stress the lengths of time an activity has taken. An example, she has been training to be a doctor for 6 years.
She has been trying to be a doctor for
So
6
here
years.
we stress the lengths of time. 3, to talk about an activity which may not be completed.
As I mentioned, yes.
Nawal has been writing her economics essay all morning.
Again, when we
She-
see all plus time, always for the students, when
It
you see
means-
all plus time,
Or
it means
past
the
Not
Last-
complete.
Yes.
It should be continuous, future continuous, or past continuous, or present continuous, present perfect continuous. All plus time means continuous.
Yes. Number 4, to talk about an activity which is repeated over a period of time. The police have been interviewing people all week. We have been playing tennis this week. So here we are talking about repeated actions.
The meaning of repeated here means continuous more than repeated, because when we have one action that happened repeatedly, it's the simple.
Yes,
perfect.
but
Present
over-
simple perfect.
we are
Yeah.
talking about a
Maybe
period
it is
of
written
time.
in the book, but for
Repeat-
me, repeated does not give me the sense of continuity.
Here, I think, Mr. Majid, they mean, for example, the police have been interviewing people all the
We are
week,
talking a period
different
of time.
people. So it's not the same person, they are interviewing the same person. So
Exactly.
there's-
But again, the focus is on the duration, not on the number.
Exactly, not on the number.
We may have another question or another sentence, the focus on how many people were interviewed,
This way,
we use the present perfect simple,
Simple.
if the focus is on the number. If it is about the length of time,
exactly.
we use the
Like
present
interviewing
perfect.
different people or playing different games.
Exactly. Miss Sana,
Okay, again, we use the past perfect to clarify which of two past actions happened first. For example, Irish people immigrated because so many had died of starvation. Now
so
here
the
people
past
died.
perfect
Yeah.
is the same as the simple past, but we use it to show which action happened
First, yes. Now here the people died, and as a result, other emigrated.
Mhm.
By 1854, a quarter of population of Ireland had immigrated to America.
Here we have by and time.
Yes.
And students need to be careful when we have by the time, by plus time means they need to use the
Past
past
perfect.
perfect.
Yeah. They immigrated before 1854. Now, number two, to talk about a situation, state, feeling, or action in the past. For example, Tariq felt nervous because he had never flown before. Now here Tariq was nervous at some point in the past. The reason he was nervous was he had not flown before this point in time. When I read the letter, I couldn't stop smiling. I'd passed all my exams.
I had passed.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, number three, provide background information about a past event.
Past event, yes.
On January 11, Fiona Thornwell arrived at South Pole. She had completed the
100-kilometer journey.
kilometer journey in 42 days. She had walked an average of 26 kilometers a day. By 10 a.m. on the last day, the clouds had disappeared.
Again,
and
by
the
here
sun-
is followed with time, so it should be
Yeah.
followed
and
with
the
past
sun had
perfect.
come out.
Thank you. Next, Ms. Hiba. Giving background information on past events.
Past perfect was mentioned first in the first term, and they continued with the second term with background information. So we can, when we talk about two actions, one happened first, this is past perfect, or we talk about something that has information, background information, we use past perfect.
Yes.
No.
So it's the same, almost the same, but to make it clear.
If the first action that happened first was in progress before the second action, we use the past perfect continuous. Mr. Sulwan.
Let's say that I wanted to comment about the present perfect and present perfect continuous. Sometimes we depend on the meaning of the verbs.
Yeah.
So there are some verbs that have an idea of continuity, like
Yeah.
when we say wait or play
Sleep.
or support or work.
And some other verbs cannot take time
Teach,
to happen,
learn.
like
These
steam,
verbs
like step.
have an idea of continuity. So in this sense here, we have to use the present perfect continuous. Unlike other verbs that do not have an idea of continuity, like find, or break, or pass, or
Step,
lose.
sting.
Yes, these verbs don't have an idea of continuity. And
They
so in this
happen in a
sense-
second.
It
Yes,
happens
it happens
quickly,
only
yeah.
once. So in this sense, we use the present perfect.
Exactly.
Sometimes we see that some verbs have an idea of continuity at the same time. Like when we say study, study has two meanings. The first meaning has an idea of achievements. The second meaning has an idea of continuity. So in this sense here, you have students have two choices, either to use the present perfect continuous or the present perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
So they will always have hints
Hence,
to look for.
Exactly.
And they will always find hints.
They will always find
Because
hints.
in the
Yes.
exam,
Sometimes more
usually,
than one.
yeah, hints are used to help the student know which one to use. Miss Aula,
Okay.
floor is yours.
Now we're giving background information.
Past perfect
Past perfect
continuous.
continuous, like the past
Okay.
perfect simple, can be used.
Can be used to clarify which of two actions happened first, to talk about situation like Ms. Sana has just said, state, feeling, or action like he felt nervous, he had never flown before, he had been flying for a long time, for example, to provide background information about a past event. The past perfect continuous is often used in preference to the past perfect simple to talk about. Now here, when do we choose to use the past perfect continuous? When we have actions which were continuous, like for much of her work, Fiona had been fighting strong winds and rough ice. So it took time, a length of
This is
time.
an idiom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, actions which were repeated, the same idea. Fiona had been having sleepless nights and feeling very nervous. So it took a length of time for many nights she couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
So in this case, we use past perfect continuous rather than past perfect
Now
simple.
you have an exercise to be done. Correct the verb.
Correct the verb. In 1854, a quarter of the population of Ireland immigrate abroad. So here we have specific time in the past.
And here we don't have by. Students need to pay attention to the difference between in and
And
by.
by, the next
By means happened before.
Yes.
But in happened
The
at
exact
that
year.
exact
The
year.
exact year. So in 18.
in simple past,
In this year. in
by
this
past
year.
perfect.
So it's immigrated.
Immigrated
Immigrated.
abroad. Number two, by 1854.
By. So
a quarter
before
had
18.
immigrated.
So had
because
immigrated.
by gives the implementation
That
that
it happened before.
happened before.
Before, yes.
Irish people immigrated because so many. Now we have a hint which is immigrated. So we have an action in the past, and this might have happened before.
And because helps us that immigrating was the result of a reason.
Of a reason.
And the reason is before. And what happens before usually is in the perfect.
Past perfect. Or we can use here past
Past
continuous.
continuous
Yeah.
So while people were dying, other people immigrated.
means that one action is longer than the other.
Exactly, exactly. Number four, when they sailed past Tristan da Cunha, the volcano erupted. Here it should have been. We don't
Without
have
E,
E.
yeah, without E.
We have E. It's corrected later. So when they sailed past Tristan da Cunha, the volcano erupted. Or had erupted. We can
erupted,
use them
yes,
both.
both tenses.
So it erupted first, and then they sailed. Or the moment they sailed, it erupted.
Yes.
On February 29th, 1960,
So just let me focus. We have two choices here. When they sailed past Tristan da Cunha, the volcano erupted means the same time.
at the same time.
Had erupted
It means before they sailed.
Yes,
Eruption.
So
happened
with
first.
3 and 4, we have two choices.
Yes.
3 had died or were dying. 4 had erupted or
Erupted.
erupted. Again, on February 29th, 1960, this is again specific time in the past, so
And we
simple
used on because the focus here is
day,
on the day,
29th.
and we use on with days.
so they
Some
shouldn't
students-
be confused with the month. It's
Some
not about
students
February.
make mistakes because they think since it is February,
No, it's
it
not.
should be in. Yes, it is written February, but the focus is on the 29th.
29th.
It is a day
So
on
the earthquake hit the Moroccan city of Agadir.
Mm-hmm.
Salah didn't recognize his friend. Again, we have simple past and something happened before. Why didn't he recognize his friend? Because he hadn't seen him for 10
For
years.
Yeah,
10.
which action happened first? Not seeing him.
Not seeing him.
Sorry.
So that's why he didn't recognize
We can see
him.
the answers clear with the next slide
Next, Miss Hiba, please.
for students to pay attention to that
Yes, here we have them done.
and the alternatives.
Yeah. Again, next, Miss Hiba, please. Talking
we are
about
talking about
wishes,
wishes.
Miss Rula.
Okay, we talk about wishes. We use we have three cases. The first one, we use wish and the past simple verbs to talk about regrets in the present and impossible conditions. For example, I wish I had my glasses with me. That means I don't have my glasses with me.
Yeah.
I wish I were 10 years younger. This is an impossibility. The second case, we use wish and could to express regret about inability to change situations we don't like.
Actually, always, as we mentioned while doing
We
the
use-
exam paper, wish is opposite reality.
Yes.
Something different. Yeah.
Now, an example, I wish I could go to your party, but I can't. I wish I could read more quickly. I read slowly and would like to read more quickly. The third case is we use wish and would to express criticism or annoyance about a certain behavior. An example, I wish you wouldn't do that. Here, the speaker is telling someone to stop doing something. I wish I would get up earlier. The speaker is unhappy about his own behavior.
Thank you.
So to-
So
just-
here is the use of would and could to express annoyance and to express regret. But the simple past is always accepted.
accepted. So 2 points. Past and opposite.
Yes.
So if it's negative, they should
Not
use
only
it in
past, we go one step
one
past.
step back.
If the original sentence is present, the verb after which should be past. If the original sentence is past, we need to
Past
go.
perfect.
For example, if I say I didn't know the answer, I wish I had known.
Exactly.
Yeah. Next, Miss Hiba, please. Miss Sana.
Okay, rewrite the following using I wish. The first one, I'm really tired, but I can't sleep at night.
Yes.
Now, the sentence, the next part, I can't, it's a negative one. So
And
we should make it positive. I wish I could sleep at night. Can
Became
became could.
could.
Then number 2, the weather is too hot at the moment. I wish it weren't so hot at the moment. Again, it's positive, we make it
And I
negative.
just want to focus on something. Since so is used in the positive or
Yeah.
in after which, some people think that it is wrong to say too hot. It's okay. I wish it weren't so too hot. It's no problem.
Okay, or we can say, I wish it were cooler at the moment.
Yeah, the opposite.
Opposite
Alternate,
to
opposite
reality.
alternative. Number 3, people drive too fast in the city center. I wish people didn't drive so fast in the center.
If the student wrote here, I wish
Wouldn't.
people wouldn't.
Yeah, it is
Okay, it's
accepted.
okay.
It's the same.
Number 4, the streets are very dirty. I wish the streets weren't so dirty. Or, I wish the street were cleaner.
Yes.
Yeah. Number 5, the last one, I'm not good at math. I wish I weren't better. Sorry, I were better
Yes.
at math.
So good here, change it to better.
I wish I was too. Miss Hiba, please, next. Mr. Suwan,
Yes, now use the explanations and results.
results.
Yeah,
Using
results.
of in order to, because.
Yes, conjunctions, it means we use the following words and phrases to introduce explanations. So number 1, in order to. So in order to must be
to
followed
is
by
followed-
infinitive.
So in the exam, they may find two phrases, two options.
Yes.
They need to look at the following verb. If it is infinitive, in order to. If it is a clause, it's not in order to. Maybe
Exactly.
because, maybe so that,
Yes.
etc.
And by the way, let's say in order to, this is one of the functional in the filling spaces. It should be in order to. So students should take it into consideration how to use in order to.
Yeah.
So in order to must be followed by infinitive. Example here.
Because the missing words doesn't have one rule, they should follow all the rules they've had before.
Exactly, yes. Example here, some people move to greener areas in order to survive. So survive is a verb. In
Yeah.
order to
It's
survive.
infinitive.
Yes,
So
infinitive.
if we had in order to / because survive,
Yes.
it's clearly
Because
it
it's
is
clearly
followed
in
by
order to.
clause.
Yeah, there's a verb. Number 2, because must be followed by clause, subject and verb. Example here, we need to produce more food because there are more people to feed. Now notice, because there are more people to feed, this is a clause, subject, verb.
yeah.
Because there are more people to feed, we need to produce more food.
Yeah, we can.
Have
We
it
can
in the
shift,
beginning,
yes.
though.
Yeah.
Number 3, to here, plus infinitive.
Actually,
Trees,
to and in order to are the
same
same.
meaning.
They have the same function.
Yes, trees are cut down to make more agricultural land.
Yeah.
By the way, if you wanted to make negative form out of in order to, so we can use in order
Not
not to.
Next, Mr. Manhal. Yeah. Miss Ula.
Explanations and results. We use the following words and phrases to link actions with the results, causes and effects. For example, so that these words can be confusing for students. They should practice more, practice the sentences. So that is followed by clause. The soil is destroyed so that the land cannot be used for
I
growing
think
crops.
the slide shown is different to
sorry.
your slide. maybe you skipped one, Mr. Minhal. Can you go back just one slide?
Explaining possibilities.
Results.
Explanation.
Yes. Yes, yes. This
Yeah.
one.
So that.
So the soil is destroyed so that the land cannot be used for growing crops.
So that is followed with a clause, subject and verb.
To be the cause of, it means is the cause of or are the cause of. The activities of human beings are often the real cause of desertification.
Yes.
With the result that,
And cause of is followed with a noun.
Yes.
exactly, like because of.
Desertification is a noun.
With the result that is followed by a clause, farmers tend to overcultivate their land with the result that the soil becomes unproductive. To lead to, wildfires can lead to greater pressure on the earth's most precious resource, water. To, it means this is infinitive.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Next, Mr. Nassour. Now we come to possibilities,
Yes.
explaining possibilities. Ms. Rula.
Explaining possibilities, we use modal verbs must, can't, and might to explain possible truths. The first one, we use must and the infinitive or must have plus past participle to talk about things which we are almost sure are true. For example, he must earn quite a lot of money to be able to afford a car. They must have come from somewhere like Africa. Two, we use can't and the infinitive or can't have plus past participle to talk about things which we are almost sure are not true. It can't be easy designing and building bridges. They are complicated structures. Another example, they can't have finished their lunch already. They only started eating 5 minutes ago. Three, we use might and the infinitive or might have plus past participle when we are unsure whether something is true or not.
So if we just summarize, must means we are sure something is correct.
true.
Can't, we are sure
It's
something
not
is not
correct.
negative. Correct? Might,
Possibility.
possibility. We're not sure.
And when they are followed by infinitive, we are talking about the present and the future. When they are followed by have, past participle, this is the
It's
past.
past, yes.
Talking about something
Exactly.
that
Yes.
happened or not happened in the
Yeah.
past.
Okay, here the examples are, she might be French, she has a strange accent, he is not usually this late, he might have got stuck in heavy traffic.
Thank you so much. Next, Mr. Nassour. The following slide, please. Comparing and contrasting. Ms. Sana, you haven't talked for a while.
Okay.
You're taking a rest.
Sorry, comparing and contrasting. Comparing. For example, farming is less profitable than it used to be. The city is much busier than the countryside. Here we have a state of comparing. Much busier and less profitable, as usual. But in contrasting, we have many words and expressions that we can use to contrast ideas. For example, whereas. Whereas join two clauses. For example, I prefer living in the town, whereas my brother preferred the country.
So we mean by contrasting two different things.
Yes. We can say, whereas some people enjoy the outdoor life, others spend all their time indoors. We can use whereas at the beginning of the sentence.
Yeah, okay.
No? Number
But
two,
we want the student to know that whereas is the same like but.
Yes,
Exactly.
the same.
We use it the same like but.
It joined two clauses. Number two, but. This joined two clauses too. For example, my brother prefer living in the country, but I prefer the town. The same. Number three, on the other hand. This can't be used to join clauses anymore. For example, traveling by car is very cheap. On the other hand, flying is much quicker. This is not a clause because we don't have subject and verb.
Yeah.
Independent sentence. Number four, instead of flying, let's go by car. Could I have tea instead of coffee, please? Number four, in comparison with flying, driving is quite slow and dangerous.
Yeah, it should be followed by a noun.
Yeah. Thank you. Next, Mr. Nassour.
How about the passive?
The passive.
The passive voice. Again, this is very important to explain. Ms. Rula.
Yes, sorry. The passive, we often use the passive verbs to describe processes. First of all, to form the passive, we use object first. We use the object, then we use the verb to be in whatever tense we need. Then we add the past participle of the verbs. Example: pandas are protected by their thick, warm coats. If pandas are being threatened by enemies, they climb up the nearest tree. If the agent is mentioned, it's preceded by the word by. An example: if pandas are being threatened by enemies, they climb up the nearest tree.
Thank you. So here I want to add something very important. If the doer of the action, the agent, is important can be proper noun, can be something clear, it should be mentioned at the end, preceded with by, or the student will lose marks. The only case that no need to mention the doer of the action when it is words that are not clear, like he,
Pronouns.
they, people,
Pronouns.
yeah, pronouns. Next, Mr. Nassour and Mr. Sulwan, you can continue, please.
Yeah, number one, the passive. So we often use passive verbs to describe processes.
The use.
The use here, the main reason for using passive verbs is to focus attention on the object rather than the subject of a sentence.
So when we want to show that the object is more important than the
Yes,
subject,
more
or
important.
sometimes the doer of the action is not known.
Not known, yes. Example here, until 1960s, pandas were hunted for their skins. So in this passive sentence, we consider the pandas to be more important than the hunters.
Yes.
Until 1960s, people hunted pandas for their skins. Also in this active sentence, the attention is on the people
The
who
hunters.
hunted.
Yes.
Yes. Number two, we may also use passive rather than active verbs to make a sentence sound more formal or impersonal. Example here, pandas were originally found in several parts of Asia. Number three, passive sentences do not always say who did the action. This is the agent.
Yeah. When it is not important
not
or not
important.
known or not clear. Next, Mr. Nassour, please.
These are the cases when we don't need to mention the agent.
The agent, yes.
Mr. Nassour, can you move next, please? Yeah, okay. We do not need to mention the agent if
If we don't know who the agent is, my car has been stolen, and of course we don't know who the thief is, it's
who is the
unknown.
doer?
When it's obvious who the agent is, for example, anyone who's caught hunting is severely punished. Of course, we know the who is responsible for
Judges.
punishing. Judges and the law punish people who have done something wrong. Or when it's not important who the agent is, like panda sanctuaries have been set up in China. It's not really important who set up the sanctuary, so
Exactly.
we don't need to mention the agent using by, of
Can
course.
we move next, Mr.
Of course,
Here we
again, the
have-
passive is mentioned before and after with the modal verbs.
No,
Now
the
we have the
opposite.
models.
The passive with modals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Miss Rula.
The passive of most modal verbs is formed like this: modal verb, be or have been plus past participle. Can and could. Goods can be transported hundreds of kilometers inside
Actually,
China. Here
when we have modals, we use be,
Be,
after
that's
the
it.
modal
we
to
have
make the
use
passive.
infinitive. Yes.
But here we are talking if it's in the past,
the
like we
past.
mentioned earlier.
In the past, we add have to the
been.
modal.
This is
Past
related
participle.
to possibilities.
Exactly.
Must, can't, and might, yes.
People were moved from their homes so the work on the dam could be started. Two, have to be and must. Before they could start building the dam, people had to be moved from their homes. Here we use the past of have to and must, had to. Many homes have had to be destroyed. The people who were moved must be given compensation. Should. People living along the river should not have been forced out of their homes. Number four, may and might. Some of the historical sites might have been saved. Whole buildings may have been moved to other places.
Thank you. Yes. Mr. Sulwan,
Yes.
rewrite the
Yeah,
following making
passive voice. Okay, so number one, camouflage protects sound guesses from predators. So in this sentence, this is an active sentence. Change it into passive. So we should
The
start with the object.
The object is the sand
Yeah,
gazelles.
sand gazelles.
They are plural.
Yeah, plural. This is present simple.
The tense is present simple, yes.
Are protected.
Are
So
protected.
we continue the sentence from predators, then we go back to the doer by camouflage.
The agent is
Yes,
camouflage.
camouflage.
Yes.
Sometimes we can use here, sand gazelles are protected by camouflage from predators, if you wanted to use this sense.
Yeah, okay.
Number 2, they use speed and agility to evade the attention of predators. Also, this use here is a present simple, so we must abide by with the MSR plus verb 3.
This sentence,
yes.
they use speed and agility to
Agility,
evade
plural.
the attention of predators can be a missing word exercise.
Yes.
Students can find the same sentence without and. They use speed, space, agility. The missing
And
word
one
is
of the
and.
spell, one of the
And
spelling.
can be two. Then they
To
have evade. They use
Evade.
to evade. And
Yes.
it can be the article the before attention.
Yes.
It can be of.
About
Also.
articles, sorry to interrupt, some of the students asked to say something about a and that, to
Yes.
differentiate between
Yeah,
a
okay.
and that.
We can say something quickly.
Yes.
Actually, if the listener knows what the speaker is talking about, that is correct. If the listener is going to say which one, so we cannot use that. Actually, use that when we have only one thing
The sun.
in the
sky.
world, in the universe, in the country, or in the place. When we have only one thing, we use that.
The window.
Superlative.
When we have something mentioned a second time, we use that. When we add a phrase or a clause to a noun that makes it clear, we can use that. We use that
With
after play a musical.
Instrument.
So with the musical instruments, after the verb play the guitar, play the piano. We use that with combined names of countries. We don't use that with names of countries, but when the country name is consisted of two words, we use that, the United Kingdom, the United States, the United Arab
Especially it
Emirates.
starts with the
Yeah.
W.
When we
the
talk
letter U.
about abstract nouns, generally we don't use that, but when we
Beauty.
specify, for example, water is fresh, but the water in this bottle, so I specified, I talked
Yes.
about something
It is
specifically. So when we talk generally, no that is used. When we talk specifically, we use the. A or an, we use A with consonants, we use an with vowels, we use both with singular,
Countable.
countable, indefinite nouns when we have more than one of the name
we
of
are
the
giving
noun
examples.
and when it is mentioned for the first time.
Yes.
I repeat, singular, countable, indefinite nouns mentioned for the first time and we have more than one of them.
And of course, they can go back to the previous webinar. We have explained
We
that
explained
with
about
details.
articles in the previous.
Details
They
and
just go
examples.
to NCCD SEP, check for the webinars. The previous one was explained in details,
details with
about
examples.
these two articles. Now we continue. Who was
Okay.
talking? Ms. Sana.
Reporting people's words, which is the reported speech. Now, reporting statements.
We're done with the examples?
No, not all
yet.
examples.
No.
No. We
Passive
haven't
voice.
finished the examples yet.
Number
Yeah.
1, camouflage.
So, okay,
Number
Mr.
2,
Suwan,
yeah.
complete.
Number 2, yes. Number 2, they use speed and agility to evade the attention of predators. Their speed and agility are used to evade the attention of predators. So here, R is present simple plus verb 3 are used.
Okay.
Number 3, they opened Al Ain's International Airport in 1994. So the object Al Ain's International Airport, this is singular, pay attention because open is a past. So we use here was plus verb 3 was opened, then the rest of the sentence in 1994. There is no need to use here by because this is a pronoun.
They.
Yes. Number 4, people are hunting 3 kangaroos for their meat and fur. The object 3 kangaroos, pay attention, are hunting is present continuous. So we use 3 kangaroos are being hunted
Yes.
for their meat and fur. Number 5, human activities have destroyed their natural habitat. Pay attention to the object here. Their natural habitat is singular, so it means that we need to use has, not have here. So the natural habitat has been destroyed by human activities.
And here human activities is important. We need to put it preceded with
Yes,
by.
exactly.
Now we come to you, Ms. Sana, reporting.
Reported statements. When we report what people say, we use the reporting verbs and make changes to the speaker's actual words. The actual words means the direct speech. For example, my parents spend every day of their lives together. The reported speech, he said that his parents spent every day of their lives together. These
Which-
changes could include the first. The first one is the tense of the verb. If it's present, it becomes past. If it's
Past.
past, it becomes
We go one
past.
step back.
Yeah, past perfect. For example, my parents spent, he said his parents spent. Now, number two, the changes include the pronouns and the possessive adjectives. I becomes he or she, her or his, my becomes her or his, and so on. For example, I've lost my glasses. He said he's lost his glasses. Number three, time and place references. Here becomes there. Yesterday becomes the day before.
Or the previous day.
Yes. For example, here, I will meet you here tomorrow. She said she would meet him there the following day.
Will became would, and today became the following
next day or the following day.
Yeah. Miss Ula,
So Ms. Sana has been talking about the reported speech. Now the reported questions.
questions.
We have two kinds of reported questions, WH questions and yes/no questions. To start with the WH questions, for example, direct speech, where have you been? And here we have to pay attention that when we form the question, we change the form of the sentence. So we use the question word, auxiliary verb, and subject. When we use it in the reported question, we need to redo it the way it was. So we start with the subject and the verb.
Like in a sentence.
For example,
And,
where have
and
you
usually do, does, did are dropped.
been? Dropped, exactly. And have or be are inverted.
They become after the subject.
So where have you been? How long are you going away for? In the reported speech, we use she asked where I had been. So
She asked me should be
She asked
because
me or-
usually we
yes.
need to put the object.
she asked me, for example, where I had been. She asked me how long, so she asked us how long we were going away. So we go a step further back in the past.
Actually, I just want to add something. When she asked is put at the end of the sentence, no need for the object. We can say how long we were going away, she asked. We can stop. But when we start with it, we need to have an object pronoun.
So the order of the subject and verb is not the same in reported question.
Of course.
They should be different.
And are there any question marks?
No, no need. They are not questions
No,
anymore.
we put full
They
stop
are not
because it
questions.
is not a question anymore.
Okay. Yes, no questions. We add whether or if in reported speech to connect.
Either whether or if.
The same. Have you already been on holiday or are you hungry? This is a direct speech. In the reported speech, it becomes she asked me or us whether we'd already been on holiday or he asked if I was hungry.
Here with is we had.
We had, of course.
For the students to know which is the D, had or would, we look at the following
Past
word.
participle, it means had.
And
Infinitive or base form.
exactly.
Yes.
Miss Rula,
We can use the following verbs in reported questions.
So it's not always ask. He asked.
Yes.
Yes.
wondered, wanted to know, inquired. Yeah.
Yes. The first one, ask. He asked if she was feeling all right. Number two, wonder. I wonder where he has gone. Three, want to know. She wants to know where you have been. Number four, inquire. They inquired where they should go for their interview.
For number two,
It's present.
since
Here we
it's
have-
present, so I wonder where he has gone. A student may say we need to go one step back. We go one step back when the introductory
Ask
word
question.
is past. I wondered where he had gone. Yeah, but since it is present, and usually in the exam they will not see a present introductory.
Past, always
Only
past.
It is always past.
Only
Yes.
past.
Next, Mr. Nassour.
Examples.
Now, yes. Rewrite the following and report using the beginning given. using the beginning given. The first one, how long have you been married? I asked my grandparents how long they had been married. Here, you becomes they, and we change the present perfect to past perfect. And the question mark becomes full stop.
Full stop.
Yes. B, do you enjoy spending time with each other? I asked them.
So I asked them.
I asked them.
Them determines which pronoun is going to be used
So
after
they.
if. If they.
Yes. I asked them if they enjoyed spending time with each other.
Yeah. Now, do you enjoy? If they enjoyed. If the question was, did you enjoy? It should be
Past perfect.
if they had enjoyed
Yes,
spending time with each other.
Yes.
See?
C, we don't argue about anything. They said they didn't argue about anything. Here we change the present simple to the past simple. D, we are taking our grandchildren on holiday. They said they were taking their grandchildren on holiday. E, when did you first meet? She asked them when they had first met. F, are you enjoying married life? She asked them if they were enjoying their married life. Here we change the present continuous to the past continuous, and we change the order of the subject and the verb.
Thank you.
Yes.
Next, Mr. Nassour. Having things done, the causative. Mr. Suwan.
A form of the verb concerning causative.
Of course, we have more than have
Yes.
in English,
So we
but
have
for
like
the
it.
baccalaureate, we are going to use
To
only
stick
have.
with have only, yes, to stick with have.
Because the rubric says
Yes.
use causative verb have.
Yes. So we use here have plus object plus past participle. Example here, he's had his hair cut. They have had their flat redecorated. How to use it? Number one, we use have something done for us to say that we are arranged for something to be done instead of doing it ourselves. Example here, I had a guitar made for me by a very famous instrument maker. He is having his car repaired next week. Number two, it's more personal and gives us more background information than just using a passive verb. His house was built by a local builder. This is passive. He had his house built by a local builder. This is causative.
More
So-
personal this way.
Personal, yes.
Yeah.
It means that I ask someone to do something for me. So we use causative, not passive.
Yes. We have exercises to be done. Rewrite the following sentence. Miss Sana.
Okay, rewrite the following sentences using causative verb. Number one, I didn't repair the car myself. I had it repaired.
And we don't mention myself in the causative
Sure.
sentence.
My mother dyed her own dress blue. She didn't have it dyed.
Again,
Wait.
as we said, the positive becomes negative have,
Yes.
and
the
negative becomes positive have.
She didn't make the dress herself. She had it made.
Simple past didn't make. She had it. Simple past made.
Number four, he isn't going to take his own photo.
Future.
He's going to have it made.
He is not going becomes he is going
Yeah.
to have. If it was he is going to take, he is
He's
not
not
going to
going.
have.
Positive, negative, negative.
Number five,
Exactly.
my brother cut his own hair. He didn't have it cut.
Now, how did we know that cut here is
Is
past?
past.
Because
Should be added with
if-
S.
if
If
it
it is
had
present.
S, it should be present.
Yes.
Here it is past because it doesn't
Yeah.
have S.
My neighbor painted his own house. He or she didn't have it painted. Again, the positive become negative and vice versa. Number seven, my father doesn't clean his car himself. He has it cleaned.
Thank you so much. Before we wrap up our webinar, I would like to ask you your advices to the students in the following exam in brief so that they don't feel nervous or worried. We start with Miss Ula. What do you
They
advise the
should
students?
relax, and it's not about these 2 days, what they have prepared in these 2 days. It's about a whole year. So it's okay if you didn't revise everything. You should relax and think thoroughly. You read well, read the whole text, read the whole sentences, and think about every word. So nothing else to be said, but just relax.
Thank you so much. Mr. Sulwan?
First, I'd like to advise my students to trust themselves, to be confident, and don't think about the size of the curriculum they are studying. Just only think about how to pass the exam, and also to feel happy and not nervous.
Yeah, Miss Rula, would you like to say something?
Okay, don't worry, and if you commit mistakes or make any mistake, don't worry, you can delete it and write it at the, sorry, on the
Another
last
place,
page.
but be careful to
write-
rewrite the number,
yes,
the
the
exact
number,
number.
and to delete the first answer which is wrong, because if they have two answers, the first one will be corrected. Not
And
the
it is a
second
good
one.
idea if the student wrote another place to put that the answer is in page 5, 6, or so on. Ms. Sana,
Okay, just to be organized and relaxed. Don't be nervous. That's all.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
At the end of this webinar, I thank thoroughly my colleagues, Ms. Ula Al-Muai, English Language
Thank you so
Supervisor,
much.
Tartus Directorate, Ms. Rula Al-Bitar, English Language Teacher, Latakia Directorate,
Thank you.
Mr. Nazir Suwan, my friend, and he is an English language teacher in the Planning and Cooperating Commission, Ms. Sana Ismail, English language teacher, Damascus Countryside Directorate, and I want to thank the directors of this session, Mr. Manhal Nassour and Ms. Hibaid, and the director of the platform, Mr. Mahmoud Hamid, our boss, Dr. Darim Tabbah, and really I want to thank our minister, Mr. Imad Al-Azab. Go forward, and a lot of regards and thanks to you. Wishing you good luck. It's me, Abdul Majid Ogarli, Senior Supervisor and Coordinator of English Curriculum. Thank you so much, and hope you do well tomorrow. Good day.